Hey everyone, hopefully having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis updated commodities. We'll work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinion. And if you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. You can see the special code over there. And we're going to dive right in, take a look, see what's going on, starting with the DXY. The DXY moving higher today, up about 0.7%. We're bouncing off support, which is the blue trend line. And this very well could be the double bottom that I've got scribed out already there. The blue line, which is support, is this trend line coming up. And we are bouncing higher today, up quite a bit, 0.7%. And yields, surprisingly, went in the other direction. So this could be kind of a risk off play or a little bit of fear in the market because we're seeing the dollar go up and yields go down. The 2-year yield is down 0.7%, but this still looks locked and loaded for the upside, not the downside. Small down day today. To me, this looks like a shoulder, a head, and then a shoulder that is trying to break to the upside. We've got the 10-year yield down 1.33, but again, we're sitting on top of patterns here. We're sitting on top of everything, which is bullish to go upward. And then the 30-year yield's down 1.33% today. But again, we're sitting on top of patterns. Whenever you're sitting on top of patterns, it's bullish to go higher. And we didn't break any key support levels. We're still above all of those support levels. TLT bond prices are up today as yields were down. But the longer term, we still have downside momentum. That hasn't turned around yet. I don't see any turn yet. I mean, it's trying to, but just because something's trying to doesn't mean will necessarily be successful. 2 in the 10-year Treasury yield is moving on up, and the curve, I think, wants to invert again. Now, we've been chopping sideways for a good period of time here, and we haven't decisively moved higher or lower yet. I would say that we're still kind of within the realm of this pattern here. But we're trying to break higher. We'll see if we can break. When that occurs, the slowdowns occur when the yield curve, in this case, the way I have it in here, I like looking at it this way because it correlates with some other things. When it drops, that's when you get the slowdown recession. When it goes up, that is another wave potentially of inflation coming through. And that very well could be the case. We could see another wave of inflation that puts us upward. Because this is a falling wedge. We break on up, yield curve inverts again. Higher yields is my guess, and more inflation. TYX TNX ratio, we are up slightly. If this goes higher, which means that this uninverts with the 30 and 10, I'm using the long end of the curve. That's jet fuel for gold to go up. Gold's down today, down $14 an ounce, but we're still sitting on top of the pattern. Whenever you're on top of patterns, guys, the upward arrow is justified. So the reason I say that is that there's a couple things you want to look for. You want to look for a breakout. And then the question then becomes, are the market conditions good for gold to go up under? The answer is yes. It's most likely a break that's legit to go higher. There are times at the end of some moves where you get a false breakout to the upside and then it reverses down. So you always want to watch to see how much selling pressure you've got and what kind of momentum it can generate to the downside. We didn't generate much momentum today, and we're sitting on top of support. So I'm in the camp that we could still go higher for gold. And the market conditions are great for gold to go higher under. Silver is up 2%. And again, this was a very obvious setup to me. Whenever you go sideways like this with these small red candlesticks, that's a flag pattern. We have a flag pattern. This whole thing's a flag pattern. That's a flag pattern. That's a flag pattern. That's a flag pattern. You guys see the 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 similarities between these moves? So yeah, we've broken out to the upside. We could see a very big move in silver. We are above resistance on a lot of these cases. We're in a fly zone where we could fly. Now, am I stating that we're going to fly 100% every single day? No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is we could really start to cover a lot of ground in a short period of time. Because of the location that we're at, and as prices get further away from the 35-ish level, I think you're going to see silver companies light it up. They're going to light it up. So get ready here. This isn't the time to be jacking around trying to play short-term trades. Not the time to be looking at MACD crosses and relative strength indicators saying that it's overbought. Um, we could move here. We could move big. Platinum's also broken out. We're up 1% today. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, we're going to get a return move." Maybe. You know, these things sometimes these things break and they just continue to rip. I don't know if we're going to get a big return move. I don't know if we're going to get a big consolidation here. What I'm going to do is nothing. I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to hold on to my platinum and I'm just going to ride it higher until the ratios get expensive. The path is going to be a difficult path. A lot of people get thrown off the bull. It's a big mistake. You don't want to get thrown off the bull market. But it looks good. We'll see if this consolidates a little bit more to the to the side or something. If we get one of these, very possible. But it's also possible that this thing could rip to the upside ferociously. Palladium's also up 2%. That's looking good. We're starting to create higher lows as we keep going on up. So that looks pretty bullish to me. And I think eventually it's going to gain some momentum and maybe we start to break out and start to move aggressively. We'll see. XAU to gold ratio. This is the gold and silver mining companies divided by gold. We've broken the downtrend. We should be bullish over here, not bearish. Bullish, bullish, bullish with the size of Texas real estate ahead of us to move up on terms of valuation of the miners against gold. So we could have a gigantor move in gold and silver mining companies. GDX down slightly today, but still looks bullish. There's no selling pressure up here. All downward facing patterns. Those are all bullish formations. GDX doing the same thing and SILJ up about 1%, but we've got a consolidation sideways. We're probably going to rip higher here at any second. Big green candlestick. We'll break through some resistance. It could really fly, guys. And when I mean fly, what does that mean? Well, why am I, covering this? So here's the bigger picture. I think when we break out of this, we could fly. There's a little bit of resistance still ahead of us, above us, but I'm talking about big, big, big moves. All right. So now's not the time to focus on the daily moves. It's time to back up, look at the big picture chart of this. And this is going to be a launching pad for something that could go very high. The reason I say that is remember, silver's above $35 an ounce. That could also fly. So things could get real interesting here. Crude oil. Now, this is a day that they transferred over the contracts. So we want to use US oil because it's not the correct one. So it was up 4.87% for US oil. This is your long-term chart there, but and there's your fractal. This is last fractal. But we're ripping today. It's a big bullish engulfing. We could very much go higher. We could get a small down day tomorrow. Call that a bloody nose. But this looks like it's firing up. Everything could fire up here. And in the long term, I think that oil is going to do something like this. I don't know if the time is right, but I think we could go $400 or $500 oil. I know that sounds crazy at this moment, but that's basically every other cycle that oil has experienced in history would do something very similar to this. And then if we go log and back way out, this is not adjusted to log. I was doing that non-log. So if it was like this, what basically occurs here is that we have consolidation, breakout, run, consolidation, breakout, run, consolidation, and we are in a breakout run. And this would project again up to that top level over here. And I just sized up the first wave. This is calling for like $800 oil. Now, a lot of people say that's impossible, can't happen. I don't know, guys. That's what it is. You're arguing with the chart, not me. If you think that I misread something here, then uh, okay, then you can say that I misread something, and you can tell me what I misread. That's exactly what I think could occur. You can even use other patterns like back here, which is another bull market, and then you lay it on top of the breakout. So that was I grabbed this on top of the consolidation. You put it on top of the consolidation, and guess what happens? You get the same exact price move. It doesn't matter which one I use. They all line up and get roughly the same price move. So that's what we've got there for oil. TTF gas is up 3% today. Switch it on back. That still looks good to go higher. We're on the backside of a falling wedge, and those generally work their way on up. So it looks bullish to me. Yeah, it looks really good. And this is coming again. When we look at this, this is coming off a double bottom. So this is a bottoming pattern here. This is a bottoming pattern here. You get a move higher off your bottoms. I don't know if the pattern's going to completely repeat, but what this is that it comes on down, and maybe we go back up to 140 or something. Maybe it doesn't go all the way up, but we can see a big move in natural TTF nat gas. So that's what I'm seeing at this time, and I think it's going to continue to go up. Natural gas in America is starting to play with that trend line and potentially break out and have a monster move. So we're right on top of that resistance area. We've been consolidating around the resistance. So what happens is you get it. We went up above the resistance area, come back, and then we're trying to fight through resistance again, and then eventually I think we'll break through it. A big move could happen. We could double the price of nat gas, and then consolidate at a pretty high level as producers try to catch up to demand, supply catching up to demand, because we have a lot of demand coming over the next few years. Boy, XOP, yeah, you know me, up 1.3%. Nice day today. Wish it was up a little bit more than what it was, but that's what it looks like, and we're following that path of how it fell, that flipped path. OIH is up 0.74%. Still looks good. Not a lot of selling pressure over there. It's starting to work its way on up, but I'm sure it might be a little bit delayed or lagged. We need rigs to come back online, and we've been cutting a lot of rigs across the board. Privately leased rigs and rigs that were with companies. Newcastle coal futures up 1.83%. I think we're going to see this move up with natural gas. So this will move up with nat gas. If nat gas continues higher and really starts to break out, I think coal's going to make a big move here. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust up 0.9%. We are sitting right at that resistance support level. We could at some point really break away from here and put a big move on. Very possible. That's something to watch out for. Usually you get into that resistance, you get stuck a little bit, and then you bust on through. Uranium futures pricing, and this is delayed by a day, up quite a bit, 8.3%. The equities today, URA down a little bit, which is pretty normal for moves that occur after a large up move. I call them bloody noses. It's a big move with a small down candlestick. And that's exactly what we got across the board. We're starting to break through resistance lines. Everything looks excellent, guys. Now's not the time to be jacking around with short-term trading. Now's the time to be looking at the bigger picture view, in my opinion, for everything. URNJ is just underneath resistance. We have a small down resistance candlestick, down 0.34%, and I think we'll break through it with some gigantic up day, I'm sure. Nickel's up 0.77. We're still trying to find a bottom and get off this bottom here. There's still some selling pressure. That's why we've been leaking down just a little bit. It will break higher, in my opinion, with time, but the sellers are still there. And I can't tell you the exact time when those sellers run dry, but it's close, is my guess. Copper's down 0.92%. And again, we're sitting on top of the pattern here. We've got resistance all through here. You can see all those wicks on the top of the candles. What that means is that every time we get up here, there's selling pressure that forces it back down. But we're sitting on top of support, and we'll see if we can bust through whatever selling pressure is up here. COPX is down 1.24%, a little bit more selling pressure there. We could get a return move back to support. That is possible. It is a bearish engulfing pattern. Lithium down 1.27, but again, I don't see a ton of selling pressure over here, which makes me think that we're going to go higher. We're doing this double bottom, and I'm still in the bullish camp. REMX down 0.1%. Again, we saw overall market sell off today, and this didn't really sell off very much, which means it's a bullish formation. I think we're going to go higher here. Iron ore down slightly, and we're still within the pattern there, right on support. Even if we dip a little bit below, I wouldn't be too worried. But this is iron ore. We've been squeezing for a while, and I still think this is a bullish formation. Aluminum's up 2%. Now, this could be something that if it can gain some momentum, I'll change my mind here. Maybe it isn't a falling flag pattern. Now, the likelihood is probably the case that it is not a falling flag pattern. Well, why would that be the case? Well, copper's sitting on top of its pattern, wants to break higher. Coal looks good. Energy looks good in general, like uranium, coal, nat gas, oil. The whole commodity sector looks pretty good. So I'm going to delete this, and we're going to wait, and I could easily change my mind here because everything else in commodities is doing quite well. Baltic Dry Index is up a little bit, 0.36. Now, I put this upper trend line on here, and it's broken that to the upside. So that still looks, that looks really good to break higher. It's a one hump, two hump, the third hump. Sometimes they break before that. So this could run for dry bulk. Emerging markets down 1.31. And again, that's related to the strong dollar. Pulling on back. Moo down a little bit, but that still has momentum, still looks good. We've got KRE down 1.24%, looking a little bit more weak. We could come back. I could change my mind on this arrow there if we continue to get selling pressure and follow through to the downside. XHB is down 2.29%. Look like a shoulder head shoulder, but now we're getting some selling pressure on this side over here. See the big red candlestick starting to show up in the small greens? We could see some selling pressure here. Russell 2000, a little bit of selling pressure today, still above support. We'll see if there's follow through. SPX, selling pressure 0.84. We'll see if there's follow through. And the NASDAQ down 0.9. And again, we're looking to see if there's follow through here. How much follow through is there? Right now, I'm still in the up camp. But if we get follow through, if we get a big red candlestick here, very well could change my mind. SMCI up one or down 1.33%. That's a double bottom, looking like it's trying to go higher. Nvidia is down 0.4, and again, that's a rising wedge. Could very well turn lower. Right now, it's up, but I could easily change my mind here. Bitcoin's getting sold off, down about 4%. We're at support, but that's a lot of selling pressure for being up here. Makes me start to think, we've got a big red candlestick here. We came down, we fought back up. And if there's more follow through here, this could top out and roll over. It's possible, but we'll see. Ethereum's down 0.6. It's still tightly controlled, the buyers and sellers, so it's but it very well could be an inverted flag. We'll see what happens here, guys. It's tough to see the exact tops of some of these if they top, but right now it's still holding on underneath some resistance. MicroStrategy's down minus 1.85, and if we lose Bitcoin and Ethereum, very well could get follow through to the downside. That would be an inverted flag pattern that I have drawn up there. This pattern would be upward facing, which gives us a downward bias. And then the VIX is up 12%, 13%. This could, which I've got the arrow there, could continue higher, which would be a sell-off in the S&P, potentially leaking over into other areas like NASDAQ, Bitcoin, and whatever else. I'm not exactly sure what Bitcoin has in store for us. A lot of people say, oh, it's a great inflation hedge. Says who? Like, what data do you have where we went into a large inflationary period with rising interest rates? We don't have one where Bitcoin existed. And I don't think using 2020, 2021 is a valid case. So we'll see what happens, is what I'll say. Not in the camp that knows what comes next for Bitcoin. But that's all I've got for today, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the website. Special is the coupon code. Check out for the midweek update coming up here tomorrow. I'll probably release it late tonight. And you guys can get my opinions of what looks good in the market, what I'm looking at, what I think is good opportunities out there. And I do see a good handful that look pretty good to me. But that's what I've got. We'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.